We're going to jump right in to tonight. And look, I said it in the beginning, but can I say it again? Can you give me a minute just to go through this again about this time that we had on Sunday? It was something serious. It was something serious. It was life changing. I submit to you that that again we will never be the same again. And don't you worry if you were not able to attend because it was fresh oil on us. And you know what? We gonna make sure that it flows right on you. We had a great time. And Monday, was I the only one that Monday just felt a little bit different? Did anybody else go into Monday like, no, I can take on the world. Let me come on, evil, come on, devil, thank God for this time that we had in worship on Sunday. Look, let's go ahead and dig in tonight. We are starting our new theme. We'll be in this theme for the remainder of March and much of April. I don't know if we'll go exactly to the last week of April, but much of April, we're going to be talking about discipleship. If I can kind of explain to you where we're going for the next couple of months, this is setting us up. The next 4 to 6 weeks is setting us up to move into our training on evangelism. All right. But we're going to be talking about discipleship for the next about 4 to 6 weeks. All right. The primary mission of the Christian is to proclaim the good news. And we need to do that by modeling the behavior of Christ. So, on the next 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to consider the following. What is at stake? What is at stake? Why is this most important to humanity? It's not just about you, right? But why is this most important to humanity? And why has the church missed the mark on making disciples? And what are the heart traits of a disciple? What does a disciple look like? What does a disciple look like? Is a disciple a person that has that wears a dress down to their ankles? Is a disciple a person that wears a head covering? What does a disciple look like? We're going to talk about that so we can be very clear about doing the work that our Father has called us to do. So look, let's get into a real definition. Eastern Bible Dictionary. This is the definition that they have put, and we're going to go with that for the use of our teaching. A disciple of Christ is one who believes his doctrine, rests on his sacrifices, imbibes his spirit, and imitates his example. So let's make some things clear. In our definition, note the disciple is not passive, yet requires an action. If you're taking notes, jot that down. Say, a disciple is not passive, yet requires action. So look, in this particular definition by Easton, it breaks it down to four simple perspectives. Number one is belief, right? Which we know as faith. We just came out of, y'all help me, I think it was 6 weeks of teaching on faith, right? So number one, the disciple has to do what? The disciple has to believe. Has to be a belief. Number two, based on our definition here, the disciple has to rest. It has to have an insurance. Number three, it imbibes or it assimilates. That's another word. It assimilates. That means that it assimilates to ideas and knowledge. It assimilates to his spirit, not our own understanding. And number two, it imitates his example. Or another way you can look at that is a disciple, hear this please, a disciple repeats the behavior of Christ. All right. So I submit to you that that many times our perspective and our quest, if you will, is to be different. Think of that. Think about how many times we're proud that I'm different. I'm different. Uh, we're uniquely proud to be special. But this proclamation has often caused the disciples of Christ to look and act very different to the world. Shouldn't when the world looks at us, they should see some similarities? Come on, somebody. Look, let me give you an example. In my family, we just have certain traits. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Y'all see this right here. This is called the brown. This is called a brown head. We just have certain traits. We have certain traits. Come on, y'all have some traits in your family too. Don't we're not going to even begin to talk about some of the traits right in your family. We have traits, right?
Hmm.
Well, as part of the body of Christ, we should look similarly. But for some reason, there's something in us where we aim to be different. Well, I don't do it that way. I do it my way. It's the way we do it on this side of the tracks. We different over here. So one of the problems this creates, any given Sunday morning, we don't talk the same. We don't act the same. We don't even approach God the same. Please hear this. This has contributed to a less than impactful result in our ability to win souls, no matter the cost. Because I'm so busy trying to be me. I'm so busy trying to live my truth that I forget that He is the way, the truth,
Right.
and the life. So, in our quest to be unique, in our quest to be special, in our quest to have our own way, what has happened is we have built uh, a place in Christendom, if you will, where we are so unbelievably different, the world can't tell who's a Christian, who's a disciple, and who's not. One of the things we want to ask ourselves tonight is, are we actual disciples? Look, wait a minute. Wait. Based on this definition, is is it this that we model? Or do we model our own behavior based on what we feel comfortable, our own traditions based on what we have learned? Do we model the things that we like? Or have we given up our way for God's way? God, whatever you have me to say, wherever you have me to go, however you have me to act, are we true disciples? Look, hear it. And let's go back to the definition. Do we believe? Do we rest? And remember, rest here is not the same rest as sleep. Rest here is really defined as having assurance. Do we assimilate and do we imitate? Do we really do think of this? Think of this. Do we really imitate the teachings of Jesus? Think of this. Think of this. Even when we're talking about handling challenging situations, how about when we're talking about handling folks that do us wrong? Do we imitate the teachings of Jesus? When we're talking about handling a family that didn't do us any good, do we imitate the teachings of Jesus? When people have done us wrong, when people have disrespected us, when people have lied on us, when people have talked about us, do we imitate the teaching of Jesus? How do we respond? What is our behavior? Look, Jesus told the woman that was found in sin. He said, "Go and do what? Come on, Bible readers. Go and sin no more." So we imitate whom we say we follow. We imitate who we say we follow. And look, this is absolutely critical because uh, there's no shortage of things out there to imitate. Somebody say, "What are you talking about, Pastor?" Well, look, I can tell you right now, many of you females, if you get mad enough, your significant other or somebody close to you can say, "You know what? You just like your mama when you get mad." Come on, man. Talk to me a little bit. You know, when you really get angry, all of a sudden there's a part of your father that rises up in you. So look, we imitate a lot of people. We imitate parents. We imitate figures that we love. Look, sometimes we even imitate some folks that we don't even care for because something that they did just got in us. So we're imitating somebody, but are we imitating? Think of this. Are we imitating this Christ whom we say that we believe? Am I really a disciple? Am I imitating the behavior that I have learned from Jesus? Or have I come up with my own ways of handling folks? Because I'll tell you, and maybe y'all might be too holy, because I know y'all Holy Ghost filled, y'all fire baptized, speaking in tongues and all shouting and all that good stuff. Look, I'm gonna tell you, sometimes the behavior that I imitate got nothing to do with Jesus. Sometimes what I'm imitating is nothing but my flesh and doing it my way and saying it my way. And I'm gonna say it, and it doesn't matter who get hurt. If they in the crossfire, watch out. And I hope you do better next time. Sometimes that's just what comes out of me. That that's not imitating his example. So let's go again to what Easton Bible Dictionary says. Easton says this: a disciple of Christ is one who believes, one who rests, one who imbibes, and one who imitates his example. What are you imitating? Look, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. You ever, those of you who have children, you ever watch your child when they were young and they react to something in a way that maybe you weren't too proud of and you saw yourself in them? Look, one time, I got to tell you this. I got to tell you this, Champagne. One time, CT threw a fit. He threw a fit. I mean, he just had it out, right? He had it out. And I'm watching him. I said, "Oh man, if that ain't little me right there." Come on, y'all. Let me know in the chat if in the chat if I'm back. Can you hear me? Okay. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. Okay, good, good, good. So the story I was telling you was that I had watched my son throw a fit. I mean, threw a fit, y'all. He look, Sister Sade, he was acting all sorts of crazy, right? And when I walked, I said, when I watched, I said, uh-oh, he is imitating a behavior. Now look, Miss Nita, I want to say he was imitating a behavior that he saw from his sisters, but I have to admit he was imitating a behavior that he saw from his father. What is it that we're imitating? Are we imitating his example? Because look, his example is going to require us sometimes when you get mishandled, his example is going to be for you to close your mouth. No, I want to tell you, I want to give you a piece of my mind. I want to tell you how much of a mess you are. But his example sometimes is to shut up. His example is to love them that despitefully use you. That's his example. So we ask ourselves tonight, are we examples? Are we true disciples? Based on this definition, let's move on to the call to discipleship. The call to discipleship. Luke, the ninth chapter, 23rd and 20 to the 23rd to the 24th verse. Here's what it says in the NIV. Then he said to them, all whoever wants to be my disciple, what do you got to do? Come on, put it in the chat. Type it in there right now. Must deny themselves. Just put it in there. Deny, 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 deny. Must deny themselves. Hear it. Take up their cross daily and follow me. 24. For whosoever wants to save their life will what? Will lose it. Well, whosoever loses their life for what? For me will save it. Christ gives us the first step to following him. If we're going to be who God has called us to be, we must what? Deny ourselves, take up our cross and follow Christ. Now, you know what? When you read the text, it's interesting because really the text would read to take up his cross. No, 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 no. What the text wants to remind us, what Jesus wants to remind us is, look, we deny ourselves. And then you're going to have your own cross to carry. And follow who? And follow Christ. This is a reminder like that this way is not always going to be easy. Take up your what? Take up your cross. If you're a little bit like me, this piece of denying oneself, this is the challenge. This is the challenge in every relationship. This is the challenge in every job. This is the challenge in ministry. This is the challenge if you're on the street. I mean, every aspect of life. This is our challenge as people of God. Denying oneself. Wait, deny oneself? I deserve this. I thought we deserved it. I thought it was owed to me. No, deny ourselves, take up our cross, and follow who? And follow Christ. Jesus reminds us that to be a true follower of his, we are required to deny ourselves. This is tough. This is tough. This is tough because really, sometimes we can be so big and bad that we think we deserve everything that we want. We think we deserve it. We think everything that's put on this earth was put for us to have. It's all mine. I deserve it. You don't understand how hard I work. You don't understand what I had to go through. You don't understand how I had to live my life with these kids, and now this is what I deserve. Well, look, Jesus reminds us to be a true follower. We have to deny ourselves. It's no longer about what I want. Come on, help me out with it. Not my will, Lord. What? But thy will be done. First step. First step. We have to deny ourselves. Jesus reminds us to be a true follower of his. We have to deny ourselves. We have to change our behavior. We have to change our lifestyle. We have to change how we talk. Look, we have to change how we resolve conflict. We have to change our self-righteous attitudes. I have to deny myself I have to cut my flesh. I have to pick up my cross and follow. I have to deny myself. That means it's no longer my way. It's no longer about me getting what I want. That's child's talk. That's how children talk. I have a beautiful 8-year-old Danny Gracie at home, and y'all know her, and she's in that stage. Maybe she's a little late for the stage, but I think she should have been out of it a couple of years ago. But I think she's gonna really take this thing as long as she can go because she's the baby, right? And because she's immature, because she's the baby in the family, her whole perspective is about I want. I want. It's about me. It's about I want. I want. I want that. She don't think of if she gonna need it. She don't think of it if it's any good for her. All she wants to talk about is what she wants. If you let her every night, all she'll eat is macaroni and cheese and French fries and a soda because all she's concerned about is what she wants. God's saying, look, I got more for you than just be sitting on the couch watching the TV and living off of macaroni and cheese and French fries because that's what you like. You, you're going to spend your life on the couch eating mac and cheese and French fries because that's what you like. Look, Jesus is saying, deny yourself, cut your flesh, pick up the cross, follow who? Follow, follow me. The text points out that the walk is not about your comfort, but about your eternal security and impact on the mission God has assigned us to do. Look, would you go ahead and type in the chat? We've got work to do. We got work to do. The walk is not about your comfort. This is not, this is look, this walk, this discipleship piece, this is not all of a sudden you getting cozy. So if you wait and let me get to the end of this teaching so you don't have to wonder. There is no part in this teaching where we start saying, okay, now here's how you get the brand new car. We ain't teaching about that in this series. You want to get a brand new car, work hard, save up your money, improve your credit, and you can get something nice. We're not teaching on that tonight. It's not about your comfort. It's not about my comfort. This is about your eternal security and impact on the mission God has assigned us to do. How impactful are you on to the mission that God has assigned you to do? Look, make it personal. I'm talking about the mission that God has assigned you to do. How impactful are you at doing this thing? Because remember what we said in the beginning when we gave the direction, right? There is no passive disciples. Like you think about the disciples in the biblical days, and you run through these. I mean, these were there were some heavy hitters. They chopping off ears and like at any cost. What Jesus? Oh, we gonna do whatever. I mean, they think of the way that they die. Judas kills himself, so we get him out, and then out of the remaining 11, 10 of them are murdered. So this is not about our personal comfort. This is not about all of a sudden because you pray and you lay before God. All of a sudden, you go into your next situation on your job and everything is different. I'm here to tell you, I can preach on this. that sometimes the harder you pray and the more that God has given a place for you, sometimes the devil just really shows up in even a crazier way. Look, I've come to find out now sometimes that when I'm in particular situations that I know that God has called for me to be, and the devil start acting real crazy, I say, "Oh yeah, yeah, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Yep, yeah, yeah, this is it. Yeah, yeah, the devil knew this was for me. Hence the reason why he's causing all the chaos. Hence the reason why he's putting all the distraction in my head. Hence the reason why I'm having issues with people or relationships." So look, while we are working hard to be different, while we're working hard to be unique, while we're working hard to show how special we are, what God desires is us to be rooted in denying ourselves. But look, what God is saying is, I want you to look like me. God's desire is for us to deny ourselves and to follow Him. Hear this again. While we are working hard to be different, I want to show you how unique I am. I want to show you how special I am. I want to show you how different I am. God's desire is to deny ourselves and follow Him. The text is supporting. Stop majoring on trying to be so unique and different. Like think, like we wear this as a badge of honor. Ain't nobody like me. And I understand. I understand what we mean when we say that. But God's saying, look, I don't even want you to be like you. Deny yourself and follow Him. Go to John, the 8th chapter, the 31st to the 32nd verse. John, the 8th chapter, 31 to 32. To the Jews who had believed Him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth. Hear it, please hear it, and the truth will set you free. If you're taking notes, jot this down. Jesus makes it clear that those who hold to His teaching are really His disciples. Jesus is saying, look, no, you got to do what I say do. Hold to my teachings. Those are the folks that are my disciples. Simply saying I'm a follower is not enough. Simply attending on a Sunday somewhere, that's not enough. Simply having a love for the Lord is not enough. It is our belief, it is our faith that creates a change in us. It creates a change in our behavior. It creates a change in our mind. It creates a change in how we do things. It creates a change in how we hear things. And it creates a change in how we see things. When we submit ourselves to God, we can't even see things the same way anymore. Come on, somebody. Look, there needs to come a time as we submit ourselves to the things of God, we can't even get upset over the same things anymore. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all, you ever thought about that? You've been able to see your growth where you think about the things that used to drive you nuts. You look, you would have given it to everybody, telling them a thing or two, and you see this, you see the growth, you see the change in you. When you say, "Man, I'm looking back at that. That don't even bother me no more." Ain't that something? Simply saying that we are followers is not enough. Our belief should cause a change in us. It should cause a change in our behavior. It should cause a change in our minds. It should cause a change in what we hear. And it should cause a change in what we see. Look, if we really into this thing the way we should, as we come when we come together as a body, there should be some things that we can say, "Oh, I know exactly what you meant. I can feel it." Changes the transformation is in my mind. I hear it. Look, we got to hear it differently. We got to see it differently. Look, let me give this to you. I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this to you. Jot this down. The next time this week, it's probably going to happen to you tomorrow. It might happen to you tonight when you get off of Bible study. The next time somebody comes at you in a way that makes you want to lose your mind, I want you to look at that thing and say, this is a great opportunity for me. Look, it may be an opportunity for me to save someone's life because they just don't know. They just don't know. There was an old me that would have lost it. Saying that we are changed is not enough. Attending a service is not enough. Being present is not enough. What God desires is for there to be a change in our heart, change in our actions, a change in our behavior, a change in our mind, a change in how we hear, and a change in how we see. And that is an action item for us. Let's go to Luke 14, 27 to 28. Luke 14, 27 to 28. And Luke, it says this, and whosoever doth not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Look, the text is telling us to say, look, you got work to do. You have work to do. You have to bear your own cross. You have to come after me, what Jesus says. And if you don't, you can't be my disciple. Luke goes on in 28 verse of the 14th chapter says, for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and count the cost, whether you have sufficient funds to finish it. Goes on then down from 28. If we skip down to 33, it says, so likewise, whoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. All that you have. You don't know. I built this. I built this resume. I've done this. I've done that. The people love all that you have. I got money in the bank. I got. I was getting excited. And look, we're gonna celebrate when it happens because we're very close. We are very close. Can y'all put your fingers in? We are that close to paying off this mortgage for our home. And I found myself getting overly excited every time I would look at the statement. I was getting so unbelievably into it. I was texting Lady Sandra about every month. What's the mortgage balance now? We're almost close. If we really go hard at this, we can knock this out in a year. We can knock it out in 8 months. I mean, just really getting into it. Wait a minute. Did I get more excited in paying off my mortgage? did I than I did giving to the things that God desires me to do? Did we get so wrapped up in doing our thing, whatever your thing is? I don't know, whatever your thing is. Do we get so wrapped up in being at church that we forget to be the church? I mean, are we just so wrapped up into churching? Come on, y'all. Can't nobody church like us. You know, we can church. But are we so wrapped up in churching that we forgot to be the church? And we forgot that in order to be the church as God desires us to be, it requires a change in us. It requires us to deny ourselves. The text says it requires us to forsake all that we have. Are you willing to give it up for the cause of Christ? Whatever your it is. And guess what? We ain't sharing it's tonight. I don't need to know what your it is. But are you willing to give it up for the cause of Christ? Are you willing to give up being right all the time? Are you willing to give up having to explain what your intentions were? Are you willing to give up things that you love that have just become part of you? Things that just are normative to us. Are we willing to give those things up for the cause of Christ? To be an effective disciple, God's desire is that we would give it up, that we would give it to Him, that we would be completely reliant on Him. That before I let my mouth completely go awry, I said, God, muzzle this mouth. Because this mouth right here, this preaching mouth right here can get real crazy when I'm angry and upset. God, muzzle this mouth. Look, we're out of time tonight, but before we go, I want to give you an opportunity if you have a question or a comment tonight on this beginning teaching on discipleship.